Today we will learn how to draw a house like this one that's in 1-point perspective. So you're able to see two sides of the house. You're able to see the roof, yard, and we're going to add a sidewalk and part of the street. This is in 1-point perspective. So there's an imaginary point where the top and bottom of the house would come together to create the vanishing point. So the vanishing point will be off of the paper for our drawing. I'm going to use a marker to draw everything. If you're using a pencil, you'll be able to erase some of your guidelines. I'm going to use colored pencils to add my colorful patterns and designs on the house. I'm going to start by drawing the house, then I will add the horizon and the road. I'm going to start with a rectangle for one side of the house. So make sure you've got two sets of parallel lines that would not touch if they continued on forever. And then we're going to continue the line on the bottom. Still a straight line. You can make this as long or short as you want to. I'm going to draw basically the letter L. So this is the bottom of the L, then the vertical line of the letter L. But don't go all the way up to this line. So make this line shorter than this line. Next, connect these two lines. So you're going to have an angle. This line and this line are not going to be parallel. If I continued both of these lines, they would eventually touch right about this point. To add the roof, we're going to draw a line that is parallel to these two lines. So it is going to be parallel to the top of the paper also. But don't go all the way to this line. So I made a little mistake here. I'll have to figure out a way to cover that up. So this line should actually be shorter than the whole house. Then connect to create the roof. So the triangle up here, and then back here you would have another triangle. So this line would be parallel to this other line. So do your best to draw a line that matches the angle of the front part of the roof. And then I'm going to draw a tree back here behind the house so I can cover up this little mistake line that I made. So that's how you draw the house in 1-point perspective. The 1 point means the vanishing point. That would be over here. So now we can draw a line going all the way to the edges of the paper so it doesn't look like our house is just floating in space. And the sidewalk would be parallel to the house. You can make it a little bit in perspective by making it get wider toward the bottom of the page and smaller as it goes away from you. So this is going to look like a triangle, and the front door goes right to the sidewalk. So you can make a little door however you want to. It doesn't have to be a rectangle. On this side of the house and on this side of the house, you have space to draw sculptures, or you could put cars or trees or a playground or a pool or a trampoline, whatever you want to put on either side of your house. If you want to add a car, there are lots of videos on YouTube to learn how to draw cars. You could also put a car in front of the house if you have some space. And I'm adding the lines for the sidewalk. So these lines are getting spaced out farther and farther as they go toward the bottom of the page. So this is closer to us, that's more far away. And if you're adding windows to your house, Remember that windows are squares and rectangles that are parallel. They line up with the sides of the house. So a window would be parallel with that line. This line's parallel to this line. And I'm working on the side of the house that is a square already. So these windows are going to be squares. This side of the house is not a square. So my windows are not going to be square. That means that the line at the top of the window is going to match this line. So this line's at an angle. My window line is going to be an angle. It's parallel. I'll make 2 of those. Okay, so the side of the window is matching the side of the house. So these are lines that are straight up and down. And then the line on the bottom is going to match this line. After you're finished drawing the details of the house, like the windows and doors, add something else to the picture. So I added another tree right here. Remember the rules of drawing a landscape when you draw those things. What size should it be? All that stuff. And then add color. So Tyree Guyton's houses were very colorful and often had patterns on them. You can create some patterns of your own. If you have a pattern that you like, you could use one that you like, or you could be inspired by some of the houses that you saw. So I'm inspired by his polka dot house. I'll add some polka dots to this drawing in a bunch of different colors. And finish coloring the whole drawing. You can add other things to the landscape if you want to, but I'm only looking for one thing. So my one thing was this other tree. But color in the entire picture. Use a pattern. Use bright colors for the house. In the end, you should have something like this. I could color in the sky also. I didn't color that part in yet, but add bright colors to the house, add some things to the landscape. You could also include people who might be walking by or riding by on a bicycle. You can include a car in front of the house if you want to, or on the side.